Dash's Rob Currie. Please welcome him.
Morning, everyone. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be anywhere near as entertaining as fake Steve Jobs, so bear with me for 5 minutes. I'm Rob Currie, and I'm here to tell you what Dash knows about connected navigation in the car at 65 miles an hour. What you see up there is the Dash Express, the world's first automotive navigation device that's connected. It's got a GPS radio, a Wi-Fi radio, and a cellular radio, so it pretty much always knows where it's at, and it's always connected. And that powers a thing called the Dash Driver Network, and that's how we do all this cool traffic information. So the first thing that Dash knows is that crowdsourcing traffic actually really does work. Have you ever been stuck in traffic and wished that somebody up ahead of you could have given you the heads up that you were about to spend 30 minutes going nowhere? Well, that's exactly what we do. You can see here an image on Highway 85, and if somebody up ahead slows down, that information goes out over the network and out to all the cars in the region. And if your route's going to be affected, you get a message saying, hey, there's going to be a delay. So we've been using that system to crowdsource traffic. And what you see here is what we know about traffic in downtown San Francisco. Now that's all very interesting and entertaining, but what you really need to know at that point is what are your alternatives? In that case, we give you up to 3 routes, and we cost those routes based on crowdsourced traffic, live, and historical information from that Dash Driver Network. Now, another thing that Dash knows is that it doesn't require millions and millions of cars to crowdsource traffic. What you see here is the road system in downtown Washington, D.C. And before Dash, there was virtually no way to get traffic information on the majority of those streets. Now, over the last 6 months, we've been running a beta test in D.C. with a handful of cars, and over that time, we've been able to crowdsource traffic on a pretty good percentage of the streets. You can see them there marked in green. But the really surprising thing is we started shipping the product about a month ago, and in that time, the new customers in the D.C. area have been able to fill in pretty much the rest of the traffic in downtown D.C. So as you can see, crowdsourcing traffic really does work. We've got the data currency there to prove it. And it's pretty much the only way you'd actually get traffic on most of those streets. So another thing that Dash knows is that consumers love to search in their car. It becomes as addictive and habitual as searching on the desktop. And on average, Dash drivers search about twice a day in their car. You can see here search results for dim sum off of Yahoo Local, complete with community-based ratings. So what are they searching for? Well, we know what, when, and where they're searching, completely anonymously, of course. And the top 10 is what you'd probably guess. But it turns out in California, we prefer In-N-Out Burger. And in the morning, we're looking for IHOP, Dunkin' Donuts, and a Wi-Fi access point to check our email. And of course, in the evening, people are looking for sushi, Thai food, the nearest bar, and a few other diversions. Maybe this might be kind of entertaining. So a lot of you out there in the audience run websites, might have used geo-targeting to try to figure out where people are coming from to your website. It kind of gives you a general idea. But what if you're Starbucks and you want to know exactly where to build the next Starbucks in Arkansas? Well, Dash knows exactly where you probably should. It turns out Highway 40 between Little Rock and Memphis is a perfect place for Starbucks to build some additional locations and to advertise. And we know that down to the exit and intersection. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about today that Dash knows is that the car has a long tail as well. There's a ton of great geolocated content out on the internet today. The problem is, how do you get it into the car and accessible at 65 miles an hour? What you see here is the Dash website. Dash driver can go here and subscribe to GeoRSS, KML, Google Mashups, and with a click of the button, send it right over the air, and it shows up right on their Dash device as a button, easily accessible. So, what are they subscribing to? The top things they're subscribing to, are the things you'd probably expect from that top 10. But in the last month since we've been shipping, the Dash Driver Network has found and shared a whole bunch of really interesting locations. If you're in Chicago next month and you need to find a bar that's open at 4 a.m., it's right there at your fingertips. But as we know from the long tail, the really interesting things that endear somebody to a service are the really personal niche things that only they can really love. So, in that spirit, if you're driving around Baltimore with kids and you need to find a place to pee, we got you hooked up. If you're visiting the Bay Area from a red state and you need to practice your shooting, no problem. And if you're on a road trip and you really need to find the nearest curling club, the Dash is the product for you. That's a little what Dash knows. Thank you.